You have the number 2 and 3 player in the country in the Heisman from different sides of the ball. So I think that goes to the completion. They have one of the better quarterbacks. They have they have the best defensive player in Chase Young. So I think what the committee's also saying is we like the win over Penn State. We like a couple of the other wins. And this week, if they go to Michigan won't solidify it for them, but the Big Ten championship game will. And that's what's going on here.
Just as an aside, we always raved about the greatness of Urban Meyer as a football coach. He's no longer there, obviously. He's doing work on Fox. Do you feel like this team is just a byproduct of what he's built, or is Day this damn good as a head coach? He built his team, but one thing that Ryan Day has done, and he decided this early on, he learned, he studied, he's been part of that staff. The last couple of years, Ohio State has lost badly at Iowa and Purdue. And he said, we're going to calm things down. We're not going to get uptight. Every game is going to be the same. Very Saban-esque, the process. And Urban Meyer had problems sometimes with these lackluster games, and you saw it, and it cost him 2 appearances in the college football playoff. And Day has kept everything steady. I think emotionally he's more sound. And that's not a shot at Urban Meyer, but Urban Meyer was bothered last year more by what the president made him do or didn't make him do or said about him or didn't back him than he was about. It carried over into the season, and Urban never could get over that 3-game suspension. And I think Ryan Day has just brought a peace to this football team.
Can you say what before I quote you, can you say what your disposition is toward Michigan, Ohio State? Like, let's say Harbaugh beats Ohio State. What's your opinion about that, Paul?
Well, I think it's going to happen. I was with Jim Harbaugh before I was against him. I know this sounds like we're in a political debate here. But I think this has been the year everyone has been pointing toward. And I think one reason I like Michigan in this game, they're a good team. They're not as good as Ohio State, but Ohio State's coming off of the Penn State game. It's an emotional win. It's hard to play back-to-back heavyweights in college football.
So how much credit do you give? That's what I'm driving at. How much credit does Harbaugh deserve if he wins? Number 1 team in the nation, according to you.
He deserves a lot of credit. But conversely, if he loses, I don't know where he goes to get his reputation back. Now, again, this is a conversation for next week.
But if Ryan Day is so respected and Ohio State is such a powerhouse, although I do understand the 0-5 against your most heated rival, which is the Ohio State, if they're that elite, what's the shame in Harbaugh losing to them?
Stephen A., let's say that this company decides to make you a highly paid superstar.
Okay.
And you just start dogging it on the air and losing to shows nobody's ever heard of. But again, the other show's so good because they've hired some big-time talent. Are your executives or our executives going to say, well, Stephen A., come on, nobody can beat Peyton Manning since he's hosting the other show on the other channel. I mean,
but here's the difference. Here's the difference. Let me give you.
There's no excuse.
Let me challenge that analogy.
This is the University of Michigan.
Hey, listen, I get it. But let's.
Which you've admitted as a delusional fan base.
But Max,
beyond delusional.
Max, let me address Mr. Paul Finebaum with the analogy that you just so adroitly threw out there. My retort to that would be, if by happenstance the network decided to take care of me in such a fashion. Okay?
Happy Thanksgiving.
My response would be because they did it while I was number 1. So what we're talking about is rewarding me not just for not just rewarding me for what they project I'm going to do, but because I've already done it. Whereas in the case of Jim Harbaugh, he's never been that dude.
Okay.
He never, from the day he arrived at Michigan, we had projections, we had prognosticators out there, but he has never arrived at Michigan. And I don't recall us ever looking at Michigan and saying they are better than Ohio State. Right. Has that happened? Did I miss that?
I was trying to ask, I
guess. Well, listen,
like...
your point's a good one, even though it contradicts mine.
Yeah.
They hired him to beat Ohio State.
Right.
They hired him because the people at Michigan think they are superior to mankind. They've won 1.5 national championships in 70 years, and they brought Jim back because they couldn't deal with Brady Hoke and Rich Rodriguez and all the other people that have been there. And listen, you're around Michigan people. Jalen Rose is from Michigan. Desmond Howard. These people think they are superior because they have a degree from the University of Michigan. So Jim comes in there, and he's one of the biggest names to ever play there, and he's certainly the biggest coach they produced in a long time, and they expect it. And we're now at the 5-year mark, and if Saturday goes past and they haven't beaten Ohio State, I don't consider that a success.
I think you're confusing Desmond and Jalen Rose with Dallas Cowboy fans, but that's just
all right, guys, I'm gonna jump in, Paul,
because the Cowboys have done something in their past. It's
Paul,
just
we have another
very far
game
in the past.
we want to get to as
okay.
well. Auburn, Alabama, your thoughts on that one?
Well, I'm with Stephen A. here. I think Alabama is set up to win this game, and I don't think it's a slam dunk. I felt probably a little more secure about the LSU game. Yeah. But I don't think Mac Jones is the issue. Everybody says, well, Mac Jones has got to be impressive. They got to win by 20 points. No, they don't. They have to win by 1 point, because I understand that rivalry fairly well. I spent 35 years in the state of Alabama. That is a brutal game. I think it's the biggest, most intense rivalry in the country because you have two schools in the same
1
state.
point or 4 points, considering LSU won by a field goal.
You're starting to sound like a member of the committee.
Well, no, I agree with you. I wish we lived in a world where winning by 1 point was enough. But apparently, people are looking at point differentials and litmus test type games, even though LSU beat Alabama.
I still say that on this 13-person committee, the football coaches, there are a couple of old football coaches, they will rule the day, because everybody else, all these administrators in the suits, are going to look at them like, well, what'd you see in the game? Because they're looking at the data, and the football coaches are looking at the tape.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.